When it comes to me stepping out of my marriage, I did.
If you are in tune with the whole YouTube world, then I'm pretty sure you know who the Ace family is. I mean, they were one of the littest YouTube families on the internet, and they had a long run. They were very entertaining. They gained over 18 million followers on YouTube, which is insane. Now, within the last year or two, people started to notice that they weren't posting on their channel anymore. And then it started to question, are they even still together, or are they going through a breakup? What's going on? They went on the internet and answered all of those questions. They let it be known that they are not together anymore. They are divorced and they will be doing their own thing. Now, this left people kind of confused and just wondering, how did this happen? Everything seemed like it was so good. Everything seemed like it was going great. And even after the breakup, things still seemed like they were still doing good co-parenting. It didn't seem like there were any beef or anything. It just seemed like they just decided to do their own thing. Until Catherine released her own book. And she basically exposed Austin for cheating and just ruining her life, if you ask me. Here's a screenshot of the book where Catherine explains when Austin cheated on her and the whole situation. You're probably going to need to pause this video at this moment to read the whole thing. Now, while she exposed Austin for all of that, Austin, of course, instantly responded. Austin Mcbroom responded saying that Catherine knew that he was always cheating. He said that during one of her spiritual trips, she referred to herself as the Virgin Mary, and she even refused to sleep with him for a whole year, telling him to do whatever as long as he didn't embarrass her. Austin also said that she met a new man on one of her retreats, which kind of led to their divorce. He then says that she now hosts these spiritual ceremonies at home with their kids around without licensed professionals, and he basically just tried to expose her for exposing him.
When it comes to me stepping out of my marriage, I did. I 100% stepped out of my marriage, and it was completely wrong for me to do it. I take full accountability. If I can go back and change it, I would. And I'm sorry for that. I truly am. Her acting like she had no idea what was going on, that is a complete lie. Catherine knew what I was dealing with for a very long time. I would come to her and I would voice how I feel about how I felt like I was getting no affection from her. There was a year period where we had no sex, and I would vent to her telling her what I needed. And her exact words verbatim on my kids, she said, "Just don't make me look dumb. Don't embarrass me." I don't know what that means to you guys, but to me, it sounds like, go do whatever you need to do because I'm not capable of giving you what you need. So Catherine tells you guys that back in 2018, 2019, I basically ruined her life because I stepped out of our marriage and she had no idea, when that is not true at all. She knew exactly what I was doing and when I was doing it. So much to where she stayed with me another 5, 6 years after that. When she first came to me and told me that she wanted to do ayahuasca, in my head, I was 100% against it. Something that I do not believe in. I believe in God. But because I'm such a supporting husband, I wanted to support her as much as I could. And so I let her seek that journey, and that's what she did. Through her ayahuasca journey, she was telling me how one moment she felt like she's a psychic. The next moment she felt like she was a healer. The next moment she turned me into a mermaid. I was being as supportive as I could. She even went as far as telling me that she was the reincarnated Virgin Mary. And that she no longer wanted to have sex with me and she didn't want to use her body in that way. You guys put yourself in my shoes, and if your significant other told you that they were the Virgin Mary and no longer wanted to have sex with you, what would you do? So as she was getting more connected to the spiritual side, we started growing further apart. And it was really sad because our conversations were only about spirituality and I couldn't relate. And it got so bad to the point where she was doing it once a month. She became addicted. Usually people do it once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times in their entire life, but she was doing it once a month. And this is where, during this process and her going out, traveling and going on retreats, she found somebody. They're the messages that I came across that I didn't know what to think of it. And that's why I took her word and believed her, because I had no idea what the fuck this meant. What type of language is that? And decided to do the ayahuasca ceremonies and her hosting them at her house, in her home where my kids lay their head. I really only had 2 options. Either I get full custody of the kids, or I spend more time with them to protect them. And I think you guys know what option I chose. Here is a photo of all of them in Catherine's house experiencing the ayahuasca journey that they had together. And this boy right here is only 12 years old doing ayahuasca. Mind you, no one here is a professional. No one here has studied ayahuasca for years and years. I don't know if you guys know how dangerous that is, but all it takes is for one bad experience and it changes all of our lives. Not just Catherine. Not just mine, but my kids. And that's something I'll never fuck with. And that, you guys seen that, how hands-on I am and how much they're with me. And I also believe that everything happens for a reason.
To me, it seems like they pretty much just grew apart from each other and they both just wanted something different. So they didn't work out. And it's just a sad situation because they've been together for so long and they brought multiple kids into this world. And this is not only affecting them, but it's also affecting their kids as well. Now, in this situation, I don't want to point the blame to anyone because I don't know who's wrong and who's right. But there's always 2 sides to a story. And it's pretty much obvious that they're just not meant to be together and they could have just left it at that. But she decided to do this whole book and expose everything, and before everything was pretty much quiet and swept under the rug. But this whole book situation kind of just exploded and now everyone is looking at Austin like the bad guy. Don't get me wrong, he was definitely wrong for stepping out on his marriage and cheating on his wife and causing all this hurt and pain to not only his wife but his whole family.